Hi everyone, my name is Red Wanderer and I am a lockpicker based in the United States. I am currently a black belt in the LPU belt system and am working on getting enough locks open to get my 5th Dan. I've been picking seriously for about 2 years or so. I got into lockpicking as a hobby during the COVID pandemic when I was suddenly working from home all day and didn't have any of my normal desktop fidget toys to play with during phone meetings. I had done a little bit of lockpicking before that, but had never really invested the time in it until I was suddenly stuck at home all day, every day. I initially stumbled onto the subreddit when I was looking for progressions to follow in terms of lock difficulty, and I really liked the belt system because of the way it grouped locks by difficulty and gave you a path to follow from cheap padlocks to higher security padlocks. So the Milestone Lock that I'm going to talk about is the Assa 700. This is a 7-pin lock, and it contains a mix of security drivers, including tapered drivers and gin spools or Christmas trees with matched milling in the plug. This lock is rated either red belt or black belt in the LPU belt system, depending on how it's pinned. If you want to see the internals of this, I have a couple videos where I pick one of these open. So I had been picking for maybe 7 or 8 months before I attempted to open this lock, this specific one in my hand right here. And for me, this was a milestone lock because it was the first lock I opened that I had initially thought might be impossible to pick.
To dream the impossible dream.
And when I say impossible, I don't mean literally impossible for anyone, because I knew other people had picked this. But I thought maybe it was impossible for me. When I had made my way through progressively harder locks, I kept waiting to reach the limit of my picking ability, and this particular lock took me probably 40 hours of practice before I could get it open. I kept running into walls where I'd feel comfortable with maybe 4 pins in it. I would add a 5th pin and it would completely destroy my progress. I would have to drop back down to 3 pins or even 2 pins to feel comfortable again. I asked many people on the Discord about their experiences with this lock and was universally greeted with comments just about how crushingly difficult it was. The feeling of getting a lock open that so many great pickers had said was so difficult, and which, I myself at times had thought was beyond my ability, was just amazing. Opening this lock really taught me a couple things. Number one, it taught me that no matter how difficult a lock may seem at the outset, with time and persistence, you can probably beat it. This really is a hobby of persistence. Second, I learned that progress was really not linear in lockpicking. You can easily have bad days where nothing wants to open for you, or where you feel like you've lost the abilities that you had the day before. And finally, I learned that the skills you develop are very sticky. After I picked my first Assa 700, I've actually gone on and picked several more, including a couple that I bought keyless because I knew I would be able to get them open. It took me nowhere near 40 hours to get any of those subsequent locks, because I really had the feel for picking gins after that. Of me picking and gutting it. This lock is interesting because it's difficult not because it has extra locking mechanisms like a sidebar, or any kind of special trick that you have to do, but just tight tolerances and precision machining in the pieces that make them interact in such a way that the lock is just difficult, very difficult to pick. So the first thing